Hello everybody, welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, bringing you a brand new spoiler-free review for Alien Romulus, which is now out in cinemas. A film I've been very much looking forward to seeing, and I kind of have to apologise, this review is a little bit late. We were meant to be at the UK Gala on Wednesday, but due to family reasons we could not go, and it's Tate's birthday as well, so this is Wednesday's video being done today. The film has been seen tonight at the time of this going up, and we're going to be doing a live spoiler discussion this Monday, so we will be able to get our spoiler thoughts alongside the spoiler-free one, which is today. So fear not if you haven't seen it or you want to answer some pressing questions. We will get to those on Monday. But in the meantime, I do want to hear from yourselves of your thoughts on Alien Romulus. Whether you enjoyed it, whether you didn't, you're looking forward to it or you aren't. I really want to hear people's thoughts on that and the Alien franchise, so please do comment. Being a lot more active on our social medias now. If you follow us on our Instagram, you'll see a lot more reels, clips or episodes. The same for YouTube Shorts. So go to the description. You've got a link to all of our social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, just those four. So we are far more active. And if you're looking for shorter clips, then that's the place to be. And then you can come watch a video after if you enjoy it. So yeah, that's getting the intro out of the way. Getting back to the main event, Alien. I've mentioned I've been anticipated for this film. I've got to, of course, talk about Fede, Alvarez, the director for this film. I haven't seen any of his work before, and there was a lot of very excited people. He's got a background working with horror films, so for me to go in completely blind to his work, to what else he's been in, knowing he's doing an Alien film, he's got a great rep within the industry. I'd seen one trailer which I liked the look of. I remember seeing some behind the scenes photos when it wrapped with like photos of the clipboard on set, all that sort of stuff. I've been looking forward to this. And I'm in a really weird spade of the Alien films. I've never seen Covenant. I don't mind Prometheus. I absolutely love the first two. And I'm not big on 3 or 4. So it's one of those series where it comes and goes for me. And obviously you've got the AVP films as well. The less said about those, the better. But I don't do horror films a lot. Ironically, I saw Maxine today, finally. I'll talk about it in what we watched. But yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, what to think. As I mentioned, I saw the trailer. Phenomenal posters. It was great to make the thumbnail for this. Absolutely love the poster design. Seeing the viral marketing campaign, the facehuggers in public, at the cinemas, at the screenings. I saw a video of the animatronic alien skeleton. I haven't watched the whole thing because I've been waiting till after I've seen the film. So safe to say, I woke up thinking, okay, great, I can finally see Alien. And listen, the first 2 Alien films, I love the pair of them. And it means you can do action, it means you can do horror. And I was really excited to see what this film could do. You've got a great cast that's been brought up. Cailee, Spaeny in the lead role. I'm not going to talk about the characters so much in this, especially knowing it's an Alien film. You'll be talking about a lot of people who don't make it to the end of the film. That I'm going to save all of that for Monday. I am going to say I've really enjoyed this ensemble. A lot of British actors as well. Yeah, I'm going to save that spoiler. I'm going to save that for Monday. But I will say the ensemble is great. The 2 main leads are wonderful. But I'm worried about potentially spoiling one of the most insane character designs. If you've seen it, you know that I'm just genuinely not afraid of. But like, wow, like seeing that on the big screen was fantastic. So I'm going to get into that shortly. But yeah, the spoiler discussion will go through the key story points. We'll go through all the character arcs. And the big moments. So it's a weird sort of shallow way of me doing this, but this is how I want to talk about it tonight, fresh from seeing the film. Back to back it with Spider-Man 3. Quite an experience doing those 2 back to back with each other. I know last week I did Borderlands, then Trap, then Spider-Man 2. I'm not going to do the other Spider-Man films on the Friday, so at least I can have some normality again now. But going back to this film, I mentioned I'm not particularly big on horror. I don't see many horror films. It's not that I have anything against them. They're just not particularly films I tend to enjoy too much. It's not an arrogance thing that, oh, I don't get scared. I've just never gravitated toward that genre compared to, say, sci-fi, which is where the Alien films do that wonderful thing of combining both. Or in Alien's case, combining action with sci-fi, because of course it's James Cameron. But safe to say, this film delivered with what you would expect or want from an Alien film. Something I feel that others have not done in the past. Got to go back to Prometheus as well, which it's weird to call it an Alien film. I don't really think it is ultimately, but it is set within that world. But I understand people's issues with that film. However, I don't mind that film at all. I haven't watched it probably in 10 odd years though, so that's something I need to go back to one day. But going with the horror instinct of this film delivers. And a lot of this comes down to the practicality of how this film has been made. And I have to give full credit to the director. The production design. I know it's a really strange thing. Oh, does it look like an alien film? I mentioned there's a lot of practical effects that have been seen. A lot of this film is almost montages of like giant 70s era computer buttons being pressed on a screen. And I could have just watched another 20 minutes of that. Not saying I've got a label for my entertainment, but it felt like appropriate for this setting. This is set between the first and second Alien film. Not that matters too much with the latter, but it's interesting to get a pinpoint time and to see that part of Alien does actually affect the narrative structure of this film. And again, that's the spoiler discussion. There's one thing I really disliked this film did. I'd imagine this is a wide thing that other people will be struggling with. But yeah, that'll be spoke about on Monday. But going back to the direction, I cannot fault the way in which this film has been made, the presentation of it. I mentioned the production design. I mentioned the creature artist, the sets, the soundtrack as well. Benjamin Orfisher doing this, which I thought was great too. It had everything you'd want from an Alien film, and I don't think it blasts into the nostalgia of Alien too much. It actually feels like a new film set in this universe, and we haven't felt like we've had a film set in this universe for a very long time. There are, of course, nods to the earlier films. A couple of them maybe too much on the nose. A lot of it's done for laughter or, not too disturbing, but it's something I had a lot of fun with. And it's something that I think gave the film a bit more pedigree to play with, but it didn't feel like, hey, here's a random place, let's chuck a xenomorph in there and have it done. No, it didn't feel like that. And I know the fatal goods have been ever present in the marketing campaign. It's probably the most screen time they've had together. But again, going into the story where, essentially I can talk about this, it's they're on a essentially abandoned ship that, as you can expect, has had some other life beings on form in the past. Some revelations with that I can't talk about in a spoiler-free review, but I have to sort of go off a whim and recommend this, and it feels like I'm cutting a review short. I don't mean to. It's just a struggle to really put my words into thought without ruining this for a lot of people. But where I kind of leave it towards this film is that I definitely think it's something on a rewatch will be really interesting. Knowing what's happened from the story, knowing the character developments, character arcs, I'm really curious to see how it holds up on a rewatch, because there are some films where they could get worse, some films could get better. I feel like this is the latter. I feel like on a rewatch this could really, not necessarily improve the film, but solidify the film, because I think it was great. An absolute blast watching it. The cinema screening I was in, given this was 5:40 p.m. on a Friday, it isn't the peak time. My IMAX was pretty much full. And talking about the IMAX too, the sound design in this, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was superb. It did that very, not rare sci-fi thing, right? But there's a certain way directors can use sound, and it's not a cop-out. I know in real life, technically you can't hear noise outside of space if you're playing the realism thing, not to get into that ridiculous Star Wars stuff again, but certainly with this, the sound design is very intentional for how they use it. Sometimes it's felt as a weapon, it's used for emotional impact. There is one scream from one of the cast members, which was probably one of the best screams I've heard on film in many, many years. And it's something that I just thought really worked for this film. The choice of the sound structure, the cinematography, the lighting. I mentioned about the sets already, but how the film was shot, it really did feel like it was that 70s setting. Yes, we've got a lot of younger actors from today, some of which are having their breakthroughs within this film. Some of them, like Cailee Spaeny, who's been magnificent. She's had a couple of big films in the last year with Priscilla and, oh God, I forgot the name, Civil War, which I thought was great. It was a great film that I am going to recommend for people to watch at home. And my kind of lie with that is not to pitch all join us on Monday, but I really do want to hear about people's experiences watching this, because I do have to add, alongside of a couple of criticisms of the film, certain members in the audience, unfortunately 2 people sat directly next to me, just couldn't shut up. And it wasn't, oh, we're at a horror film scared. It was just talking and laughing and talking to each other. And sometimes you do wonder, yes, we're on this side of the camera, yes, we get to watch films early, and we're very lucky for that, but sometimes you're with a better crowd by doing that, and that kind of kicks me towards that. Whereas watching it with normal people, it's good to get a feel for the audience, but if it was just me in that cinema, it would have probably been an even better experience than having an almost full screening, so that is something that did play on my mind a little bit, but it's not really important to the gravitas of what I thought of this film, and that's going to be my way to round out this review. So it is a recommendation for me. Do try and see it IMAX. It sounded phenomenal, as I mentioned. It looked great. They make proper use of the aspect ratio, and I really think this is a film that delivers with that, and is well worth the stump up to watch it in that premium screen format. No idea about 4DX. Twisters will be the one I see if I'm going to go back to it, but I couldn't imagine an Alien film. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say for this spoiler-free review. Do join us on Monday night for our spoiler review. We're going to get into everything on that. There's a lot more we can talk about, and I want to get people involved at home. So if you are watching, join us on Monday. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as I said, do comment, let me know your thoughts on the film, if you liked it, if you didn't, and then join us and we'll chat a little bit more on this Monday. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.